We talk with our firefighters about what they've had to deal with. But first up, Governor Kemp says he's adding 5 more mass vaccination sites across the state, one of them coming to the river region. It'll be at the Wrdw Church in Sandersville, which is in Washington County.
And it will open 2 weeks from today. That'll be the 17th. The governor credited AU Health and other hospitals today for their work vaccinating people leading up to today.
We're going to be able to expand further mass vaccination sites or send, more vaccines to parts of the state where, quite honestly, we haven't had to do mass vaccination sites because, like Augusta University is doing such a good job. But we cannot let our guard down. We got to keep working on all fronts to get back to normal, and that is to get shots in arms, but also just hang in there for a little while longer and follow the guidelines, and let's keep our numbers where they are and fight through this here for another month or so.
On Monday, both Georgia and South Carolina will be expanding their vaccine rollouts, giving more people access to getting those shots in arms.
Nick Wrdw takes a close look at the numbers to see where Georgia stands with getting people vaccinated right now.
Well, if you take a look at the CDC's map, it looks like Georgia's fallen behind. See this light blue color here. But if you take a look here at the Department of Public Health's website, this 76 number is actually on par with the rest of the Southeast. This comes as more than 1 million Georgians will be eligible to receive the vaccine on Monday. In Georgia, more than 2 million vaccines have already been administered, including more than 77,000 in Richmond County. The Department of Public Health says the state has administered more than 76% of the total vaccines they've been given. South Carolina DHEC site says the Palmetto State has administered 77%. As South Carolina moves into the next phase of vaccinations, it may feel like the Peach State is falling behind, but with nearly twice as many people to vaccinate, Georgia's percentages are right on par with South Carolina.
We can and should do more to make absolutely certain more doses are getting into the arms of Georgians as quickly as possible.
Governor Kemp announced 5 new mass vaccination sites opening on March 17th, including one at Word of Life Church in Washington County. He says these new sites will allow 20,000 more vaccinations a week. Governor Kemp also says the state will be getting more than 83,000 doses of the new Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Teachers will be in the top priority as schools work to get students back to full in-person learning.
As I've said many times before, every student belongs in the classroom 5 days a week, full time, as soon as possible. That is my expectation moving forward, and we look forward to partnering with local districts to ensure that this happens very quickly.
Starting Monday, teachers, adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities and their caregivers, and parents of children with complex medical conditions all become eligible for the vaccine. And a reminder, you can start pre-registering for that vaccine now.
The news sounds positive there, Nick. Thanks. Now, as Nick mentioned, in Richmond County, 77,000 people have gotten a dose. That is the 6th most of all Georgia counties, only behind Chatham County and the Atlanta area counties. Of those 77,000, almost 32,000 have gotten both shots already.
In Columbia County, 10,000 doses have been given. Of those, more than 4,000 people have already gotten their second shot. Across the river in Aiken County, 22,000 people vaccinated so far. DHEC doesn't track the number showing how many of those are second shots, so not exactly sure about that. But teachers in South Carolina will be eligible next week, and the Aiken County School District wants to help get them vaccinated. They're partnering with Rural Health Services to set up 6 vaccine sites this month just for educators and eligible school employees. So the first 2 will be next Friday. That'll be at Midland Valley High School. Tuesday the 16th, there will be one at Silver Bluff High. Employees will be able to select a date and time. You'll just have to go to the district's website, and you can do that starting Monday. More people, of course, eligible for the vaccine starting Monday, so a lot of our local hospitals are really ramping up their clinics this week.
That includes one today and another one tomorrow at USC Aiken, set to vaccinate thousands of people there. Brady Travenel checks in with Aiken Regional as they get ready for even higher demand.
For Aiken Regional, getting shots in arms early on was admittedly a struggle, but things are changing here, and they're trying to vaccinate nearly 4,000 people over 2 days.
I was shocked.
Charlotte Austin is thankful for a friend's phone call. Without it, she would still be waiting for a vaccine.
So relieved. I've been inside the COVID really. I want to go to the supermarket. I don't let anybody in my house.
She's afraid, high risk, and 2 people close to her died of COVID.
Well, nobody couldn't get shot. All of a sudden, there's nobody here.
That's why Aiken Regional opened the clinic to walk-ins, as appointments only trickled in.
The hardest thing for us was securing vaccines.
We've got an outstanding group of volunteers in our community that have stepped up to the plate to help us.
Eric Bullmeyer says Aiken Regional has administered around 5,200 vaccines up until March 1st. The goal was 4,000 more today and tomorrow, a big jump made possible by volunteers.
How do you take nurses out of the hospital?
Especially at a smaller hospital during a pandemic. Aiken Regional was expecting more demand today, but this week, AU Health and University Hospital are also doing large clinics in Aiken County. In fact, it's the largest collective vaccination effort in the county ever.
Our hope is that more and more people in the rural parts will have that awareness and be able to come.
People like Philip Jenkins, who walked in.
I pondered the thought of getting the shot and whether or not I was going to.
Our hospitals are trying to convince thousands left in Phase 1A to come out for their vaccine this week, ahead of more than half of the state getting eligibility on Monday and the potential of getting left behind.
I'm happy now that I went ahead and did it.
Reporting in Aiken, Brady Troutnell on your side.
Now today, Aiken Regional vaccinated 300 people. They will host another Moderna first dose clinic tomorrow at the UFC Aiken Student Activity Center. For those eligible in Group 1A in South Carolina, you can walk in anytime from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. It is first come, first served. And there are 2 other vaccine clinics happening on the South Carolina side as well tomorrow. University Hospital holding one of those at Millbrook Baptist Church. Registration ended at 3 o'clock today, but there's also a clinic in Barnwell tomorrow for eligible people who live in Barnwell and the surrounding towns. You can register at the link right there on your screen that we're going to pop up here. That'll be at the Clemson Extension off Dunbarton Boulevard.
There are also a couple of clinics coming up on the Georgia side to tell you about. A clinic coming up specifically for those of you who are eligible living in Harrisburg. That's coming up Friday, 9 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon over the Harrisburg Family Healthcare Center on Crawford Avenue. You can't sign up for this clinic ahead of time. Also on Friday, AU Health hosting a second dose clinic for the Moderna vaccine. You can sign up online only if you got that first dose at least 25 days before Friday, which would be coming up February the 8th. New at 6 o'clock, South Carolina. Riley, thanks. Talk about a mess. Check it out. A log truck flipping over, spilling its load all over Mike Paget Highway today. This is what it looked like right around noon. This is the intersection of Doug Bernard Parkway, and you can see logs just scattered everywhere. Crews were called out there around 10 this morning. The lane shut down for several hours as they tried to clean up. It's all clear now, but what a mess that was.
Deputies say this man is missing. He could be in danger. Fred McGahee was last seen around 12:30 yesterday afternoon on Ederly Drive, right outside of Blythe. Deputies say he suffers from schizophrenia, so they really need to find him. If you've seen him, if you know where he might be, call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
More than 2,800 people in South Carolina accused of taking advantage of the unemployment system. They're now being investigated for fraud. The State Department of Employment and Workforce says they expect many of these cases to move forward and charges to be filed.
A suspect still on the run tonight, accused of setting 2 homes on the same street on fire just last week. The fires broke out at 2 abandoned houses last Monday on Telfair Street. Authorities have not released a name or a specific description of who they're looking for, but arson investigators say 4 homes total on Telfair Street were damaged last week by fires. They also say they are seeing more cases like this in Augusta. A new study found Augusta ranks 3rd in the entire country for home fires. Will Rio is live for us where those fires happened on Telfair Street. And Will, the fire department is really trying to work to cut down the number of fires they're seeing.
And that's exactly right, Laura. And you can see right behind me, they're trying to cut down on these abandoned houses and in some cases structure fires. And it's really bringing up a couple of questions. Why does this keep happening and what's being done to stop it?
It's been four hard, long, struggling months of being homeless.
You may remember Janae Dixon from a few months ago.
Life has been so hard since the fire.
Her house caught on fire after homeless people in the abandoned house next door started a fire to keep warm and lost control of it. Now, 4 months later, she was just able to get a home for her and her 8 children.
Being 4 months in of being homelessness and now being able to get me a home, it's sad.
According to a new study by Hartford Insurance, Augusta ranks 3rd in the nation for fire risk in home fires.
Home fire risk in Augusta is a concern, and it's something that we as a department try to educate the public as much as possible to take better steps to reduce their fire risk.
The study logged fire calls and damage claims, but doesn't always mean there's a fire.
Areas that have more abandoned homes than not typically do see more fire risk.
That area is exactly where Trinae's house was, where there is a lot of older homes and a higher homeless population.
They go inside of an abandoned home and they start a fire. It gets out of control, and then there's a fully engulfed structure fire.
The fire department says they just want to help educate people on the risk factors with home fires. But for Trinae, who visits her home every week, the worst part is
when coming here, having to be reminded of what had happened.
And the Augusta Fire Department says that they typically see between 23 to 25 calls for structure fires per month. Right now, we're a little bit above average right now at 27. They say it's no real concern, and they don't really know those numbers until the end of the year. If you want more tips on fire safety, they say that you can reach out to their social media page, and that's where you can get more information on that. Laura?
Not something we want to be close to the top in the country on the rankings, therefore, Will. Thank you. In Columbia County, deputies are looking for this man wanted on multiple charges. Tracy Martin is wanted for home invasion, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. Deputies say they have video evidence of him kicking down a door and dragging a woman down the staircase by her hair. All of this happening yesterday near the Canterbury Farms neighborhood outside of Grovetown.
The family of a British teenager seeking damages against an Aiken native, Ann Sokolis, and now her husband. A judge in Virginia ruling today that Harry Dunn's family can claim damages against Mr. Sokolis. Investigators say Ann Sokolis was driving the wrong way in England when she hit a motorcycle head-on, killing Harry Dunn. Sokolis is a U.S. intelligence employee, her husband a diplomat. She claimed diplomatic immunity after the crash and came back to the U.S. A judge ruled last month the family's claim for damages against Ann Sokolis can move forward in the court system.
As we get closer to spring, if the trees and flowers aren't enough for you, the city's trying to pump up the pretty on walking trails. What they're doing in 60 seconds.
And we are expected.
Riley, thanks. If you're heading out, you need to know about more lane closures on I-20 at the state line tonight as we give you a live look there at the construction zone brought to us by EarthCam. Crews are going to be out there again setting the beams on the bridge over the Augusta Canal. That work is going to shut down one lane on each side of I-20, so coming or going, you're going to have to watch out for that tonight.
Well, the past year's been pretty rough. We've all missed out on something at this point, and for thousands of high schoolers, it's been prom. So a local group is trying to make it up to them. It's called Cinderella Day, and the Augusta Dream Center is trying to make sure girls still get the prom experience. They get to dress up, get their hair and their makeup done, the whole deal, and here's how you can help out. They are looking for donations to make this happen. They need formal dresses, shoes, the accessories. If you have them, there are drop-off locations listed, and we're going to put them on our app as well. Just search Cinderella. You can also use that link to register your child. You have until March 6th to donate. If nature isn't enough beauty for you, how about some local art sprinkled in there? A new art piece went up today on Augusta's Lake Olmsted Trail. This is called Basking Sliders. It's up now at the trailhead right behind Lake Olmsted Stadium. The piece is named for the turtles that get out of the water to bask in the sun. And the artist said she didn't really have to look too far for inspiration.
My inspiration for the piece was both the nature of the area, the natural beauty of the canal, also the history of the canal. I wanted to combine those two into just one image that sort of encapsulates that. The red bricks and the red clay of the turtles are sort of a homage to the mills and that were powered by the canal.
This is actually the second art piece that's gone up along the canal. There are several more pieces around downtown as well.
Honoring the turtle, like that. A couple of groups coming together tomorrow to help keep Augusta beautiful. They're going to be cleaning one of Augusta's waterways, and it does need some help. The Savannah River Keeper and Veterans for Clean Water teaming up to pick up all this trash near the Augusta Tech campus. There's a small lake there between Augusta Tech and the Richmond County Magnet School, and the River Keeper says there's a ton of trash there, so that's where the picture on your screen comes from, so you can see the need. But if you want to help out, they're looking for volunteers. You can sign up online, and we have the link to do that on the website and the Wrdw app. And thanks in advance if you do. A couple of local teams battling it out for a state championship in girls basketball. All eyes on Saluda and Silver Bluff. The game highlights and reaction coming up next.